Welcome to all new Look Back in Amber, from exclusive interviews to interesting inside insights. Since 2010, we've been the best place to be for all things audio for us, Newport County fans. Coming up in the next 45 minutes, I'm Lamsey and I've got all the big questions.
I'm Stephen, I've got the commentary highlights and I'll be asking if we expect too much from match officials.
Hi, I'm Luke and I have the post-match interview with County Manager Graham Coughlin, and I'd like to know if safety was ever in doubt.
Couple of good questions there. Never miss out. Subscribe to the podcast or make sure you listen at 3pm on a Sunday or 7pm on a Wednesday or 3pm next Wednesday. Time or later. Almost after all League 2 home matches.
Right here.
Right here.
Right now.
Right now. Newport City Radio.
So it began yesterday at 6pm, but it didn't.
It didn't, no.
No. Look what we got.
Yes. Well, Saturday, Hartlepool. We needed a performance after the game on Monday, which is probably best if we don't talk about.
Yeah.
But we definitely needed more a performance than a result after the game on Monday. I think we did get the performance. First half, we were absolutely in total control. Second half, Hartlepool came into it.
Should we have a listen?
Yeah, why not?
Let's have a listen.
Let's have a listen.
Hello and welcome to Rodney Parade as Newport County look to ensure their safety for another season in League 2. Struggling Hartlepool are the visitors, teetering one place and just 1 point above the drop zone at the bottom of the league. But it won't be easy for the Exiles, as new Pools manager John Askey has not lost a single match in charge since he took over 8 games ago back in February. It's Chris Chappell with you for Newport County against Hartlepool United. 16 minutes on the clock. Mickey Dimitriou uses the towel to dry the ball and his face and sends the ball in. It's dropped for Bogle. Hook shot goes into the net. Nobody expected the ball to drop in. Not least Jakub Stolacic, wrong-footed on his goal line, and a piece of opportunism from Omar Bogle, the striker signed from Hartlepool United in the summer, means that Newport County have the early lead here in the 17th minute. It's goal number 14 for Omar Bogle, and it's County 1, Hartlepool 0. Evans keeps it going for County. Lewis inside the fullback. Drysdale with a cross from the left, and it drops for Dimitriou, and he hooks the ball inside the post to make it 2-0 right on half-time. Dimitriou, who scored the winner at Hartlepool in February, is at it again with another goal against the Pools. It's goal number 3 for the season, and Newport have a commanding lead as we head for the break. 2-0. And that's the final whistle. It's back-to-back wins at Rodney Parade for Newport County, and back-to-back clean sheets after the defeat of Northampton on Good Friday. Final score at Rodney Parade: Newport County 2, Hartlepool United 0.
I was going to say thank you, Stephen and Chris, but Stephen, you weren't there. You
I
were
wasn't
in
there,
Liverpool,
no.
you were there, so you were joining it on iFollow.
I was listening along.
Luke, you were there briefly. What did you make of the game?
Well, I thought the first half was total domination from Newport County, exactly what we needed after the 4-0 defeat to Stockport on Easter Monday. And then second half, as you'd expect, Hartlepool came more into it and we had to show more of a defensive side. Didn't look like scoring. If they had 1 or 2 chances, they weren't clear-cut chances, but yeah, thoroughly deserved. Could have been more.
It's a good response to the previous match. Stephen, on the telly box, what did you briefly make of that match?
First half, totally dominant. I think it's always difficult when you're 2-0 up in a game, and it's a kind of strange result, isn't it? You know, do you stick with what you got, or you know, do you kind of go for it a bit more? But yeah, brilliant result, and it was much needed after the previous game.
Okay. It restarted at 6 p.m. in the Marquee with the NCR warm-up team, the kids from Mellon Homes, which sadly we didn't get to talk to.
Oh.
So hopefully we'll catch up with them again. The charity of the day, the Wallich, and amazing live music from Robin Benge, who was just outstanding. Really, really nice lady. Really good chatting to him. Really good singer as well. Continued at 7:45 p.m. with Chris, Stephen and Luke. Stephen, Mansfield Town, talk to me about their recent form.
Mansfield, they'd drawn their previous 2 matches and they were unbeaten in their last 7, 1-2, drawn 5. They were also unbeaten in their last 3 away matches, 1-1, drew 2, and they'd only had 1 defeat in their last 8 matches, 1-4, drawn 3, lost 1. Mansfield had not won in Newport since August 2016, a 2-3 win.
Wow, there's a stat. Luke, how did Newport County line up this time yesterday?
Newport County made a grand total of 4 changes from the Hartlepool game. We had Joe Dunne in goal, back through Declan Drysdale, Priestley, Farquharson and Mickey Demetriou, Cameron Norman and Will Evans as the wing backs, James Wade, Scott Bennett and Nathan Murray Welsh as a midfield 3, with Callum Cavan and Channy McNeil up front.
And now we're banging up to date.
Fresh from giving Northampton a good shoeing and ending Hartlepool United's 8-match unbeaten run, Newport County welcome another side with a long unbeaten run, 7 matches, and that belongs to Mansfield Town, last year's playoff finalists, who are up there again looking for promotion. Manager Graham Coughlan will be desperate to get one over his old side, but he'll have to do it without top scorer Omar Bogle, fresh from scoring 3 goals in his last 3 games. He is only on the bench, and it's the 2 young guns, McNeil and Kavanagh, tonight. Chris Chappell with you once more on commentary, alongside a freshly recovered Stephen Howell. Good evening.
Yes, good evening, Chris. Good to be here. Yeah, I think Graham Coughlan's gone with a youthful lineup tonight, haven't he? Especially with the forwards.
5 to aim for, in and around the penalty spot. Here comes Dimitri with the throw. Norman is over his head at the near post, the usual flick on target. Back to Dimitri, hooks it in with his right foot, and the goalkeeper didn't know whether to come, and Evans just lifted over the bar. He got there in front of the goalkeeper, Pym. It took a nick, probably off the head of the goalkeeper, and then flicked up and over the crossbar, landing on the roof of the net. But Evans quickly in there. Pym didn't see him coming.
Yeah, it was a brilliant bit of play by Evans, and I think he's made a really good start this match defensively, but he's shown his offensive qualities there, and nearly paid off, didn't it? Cheeky little flick over the goalkeeper. Brilliant effort.
So he's gone over to take the corner from the right, as Evans, and he sweeps it in towards the far post. Dimitri gets the header in, and it drops just over and clips the bar. The wrong side of it though, and Pym once again breathes a huge sigh of relief, because that could easily have crept over his head and under his crossbar. Flicks behind him towards Boateng, and he's managed to wriggle his way through, and the ball creeps just inside the far post, having gone through Day's attempt at a save. Nice flick from Bowery from the throw-in. Just lifted it over the defender to find Boateng, and somehow he found his way through the flying legs, and the ball deflected in. 1-0 to Mansfield, 23 and a half minutes into the game. But that was a sloppy goal.
Yeah, it's a really, really poor goal to concede. That's the first chance Mansfield have had in this game. It's been all Newport County so far. I think Graham Coughlan will be really disappointed for that goal. The defending was very, very poor.
Anyway, Dimitri's long throw is quite a dangerous one. It hits the second Mansfield defender, and the cross is low and forced towards the goal by Evans, and then the goalkeeper blocks it on the line just in front of Callum Cavanagh, who's denied. It's a corner. Aaron Wildick from the right hand side delivers the corner in towards the penalty spot, flicked away by Gale, the substitute. Aaron Lewis stretches but loses out, and now Hiram Boateng brings it forward. Gale up on the left, skips the challenge, into the box, onto his right foot, inside the area now, and curls it into the bottom corner for 2-0. Mansfield Town break from a Newport corner, and at speed they get it up inside the opposition penalty box, and great composure from the sub James Gale, who curls it beyond the dive of day, and it's Newport County 0, Mansfield Town 2. Well, what a rapid counter-attack that was.
Yeah, well, it's kind of your classic breakaway goal, I think, when a classic counter-attack from Mansfield. They celebrated it as if they'd just won the league. And, yeah, I mean, County, to their credit, they've been pushing and pushing, and I suppose inevitably going to get caught. I mean, Aaron Lewis got caught in the middle of the pitch, didn't he, with possession, and yeah, he was cool as a cucumber, wasn't he, and he finished it well. County don't deserve to be 2-0 down, to be honest, but that's the way it goes sometimes.
And could well go close again. Shot flies against the post from Gale. It's come back to him. And Norman manages to get it away, but goodness me. Easy header for Hewitt. Mariah Welsh brings it down. Turns away from his man, and now Lewis with the cross from the right towards the far post. Headed down and bounces into the roof of the net. A fine header, and it's Aaron Wilding, the substitute, arriving at the back post. Great ball in from one of the other subs, Lewis. And Newport are back in the game with 5 minutes to go. County 1, Mansfield 2. Good play, and Newport a lot quicker there, just moving the ball.
Yeah, I think it was a really good period of play when Aaron Lewis getting the cross in for his 7th assist in the league, and Wilde getting his 3rd goal of the season, well, 2nd goal of the season, I think. Yeah, well, big finish now, maybe rescue a point. Be a good result then, wouldn't it?
On the right hand side, keeps his footing in towards the near post. It's an arrowing delivery. And it bounces up. No handball, crowd baying for a penalty. David Pike jumps for the ball on the sidelines. And that's the full-time whistle. Newport County gave it everything, but promotion chasing Mansfield Town had just enough to clinch victory here this evening. They've actually dropped a place in the table because Salford have won by 2 goals, so close is the race for the top 7. Newport dropped to 18th, having been beaten by 2 goals to 1 here. Caught on the break, chasing an equaliser midway through the second half. James Gale firing in Mansfield second. Aaron Wilding headed County back into contention with 4 minutes to go, but they couldn't quite find a second goal, and it ends here at Rodney Parade. Newport County 1, Mansfield Town 2.
Thank you, Stephen. Thank you, Chris. I don't know about you, Luke, but I found that really, really fair. Not belittling Mansfield at all. And I think Stephen and Chris left their rose-tinted glass at home. Liam, if you're going to tweet, you've got to get it right.
Yeah.
You've got to get it right, Liam. Yeah, just look on Twitter.
Yeah, just go on Twitter. Said at the beginning of the commentary, I thought he picked a really youthful side, Graham Coughlin, especially with the strikers in the midfield. Yeah, and they started really, really well on the front foot, playing with high energy, high intensity, causing Mansfield problems. And then Mansfield got the goal, which I thought was poor defending, really disappointing to give away. And then they began to play with a bit more confidence, forcing Newport back. And I just thought it was a really, really even first half. I think, Newport were unlucky to be going in 1-0 down. And then I was shocked, to be honest, to see such a lacklustre start to that second half from Newport County. The first 15 minutes was dreadful. I expected them to come out firing, and it just didn't happen. And it took until Aaron Wildig coming on around 60 minutes. He changed the game. For me, he changed the game for Newport. They started playing with more intensity again, got the crowd going. The Rodney Parade was rocking then at this point. It was a brilliant atmosphere. Brought Bogle on as well. I thought he kind of gave the defenders a different problem. Graham Coughlin changed the formation a little bit as well. He kind of... we were trying to work out what he was doing at some points, but yeah, he kind of juggled the formation a bit to get there. I think he put McNeil in behind 2 strikers, Bogle and Kavanagh. Newport were pushing for that equaliser, and then they got caught going forward. Aaron Lewis got caught in the middle of the pitch, and Mansfield were clinical in finishing that chance off. And then Mansfield were just happy sitting back, soaking up pressure, and it was more, it was quite a lot of Newport County pressure then. good for Wildig to get the goal. Like I said, I thought he changed the game. Aaron Lewis, our most creative player, getting another assist. And then, they rallied towards the end, but they just couldn't get that equalising goal. But, overall, I can't fault the players, any of them, for their performance. I thought they played really, really, really well. They just come up against a real savvy Mansfield team who practiced the dark arts of football, shall we say. I think, it's disappointing to lose, but the performance was there.
You're always going to get that, though, the Nigel Clough side. They're always going to be big, physical, up for the battle in League Two. They're always going to be like that. Yeah,
they're a proper League Two side, and they're kind of like what we used to be in some senses. We used to be that kind of team, didn't we? We haven't really got that so much anymore. I didn't go out there feeling, too disheartened because they played well.
Okay, we've heard what Stephen thought. We've heard what Luke thought. Let's hear what the County manager thought.
Yeah, I think it's obvious. I think we played. We gave two sloppy goals away, but other than that, I thought we were really, really good tonight. I thought our performance was excellent, and to push a top team, I actually thought it was a really, really good game, a really good advert for League Two football between the two really good teams. Yes, the league table might show there's a bit of a distance between themselves and us, but our performance levels tonight and the way the game went shows that we're not far off. Obviously, the downside of the game tonight, the officiating was what can you actually say? What can you do? I don't think any player, any human being deserves to be spoken to the way my players were spoken to by the officials tonight. So we'll have to address that. We'll have to put something down in writing and send it off. But will we get anything? We won't get much back. We've had a Stonewall red card. The lad has gone through. Will Dig not given. Okay, he's not given that. There's a Stonewall penalty at the end. He's not given that. So we just have to live with these decisions, and we just have to live with that frustration. But overall, I thought it was a really, really good League Two game of football between two really, really good teams. We've come out the wrong end of it, and that was probably our own doing because I don't think our defending was great for the 2 goals.
When you say that about the way your players were spoken to, how did the referee speak to your players? Give it a bit of an insight.
Arrogance and disrespect.
So it wasn't anything in particular he said, it was the way he said it?
Yes, the way the official conducted themselves tonight was poor, really, really poor. I've been in the game a long, long time. I know I'm not the best on the sidelines with them. That's me, that's passion. But I don't disrespect and I don't speak to people like that, and I don't expect my players to be spoken to like that. But I don't want the officials to overshadow the performance from 2 really, really good teams. 2 really, really good teams tonight. And I have to say, we weren't far off, but them 2 moments of madness have probably cost us the game. We were very open from our own set pieces, which I didn't like, and we never dealt with a throw in the box. They've hit the post. Other than that, there was very little between us. But look, I have to commend both teams, both clubs for the game they put on tonight. I thought it was a really, really good advert, really high intensity, a high intense game of football.
You feel injustice tonight. When that goes away tomorrow, the day after, you can look back at a lot of positives tonight against a very good playoff chasing side.
Yeah, for sure. I've just said that to the lads in there. The performance has been strong. They got stronger and stronger as the game went on. Our fitness levels was there for all to see. The last 8 minutes, obviously they could hit us on the counter attack. We opened ourselves up again. We had the 3 strikers. We pushed Will Evans high. We had a lot of the ball. We had a lot of territory, but let's have it right. We didn't actually ask too many questions of their goalkeeper, which is frustrating. But you're just waiting on the ball to fall. You're just waiting on something to go your way. Tonight it hasn't fallen for us. It hasn't gone our way. So we just have to dust ourselves down and move on.
Is it pleasing in a way? I just lost, but you've shown different sides to your game, because that was a battle out there as well against a physical side. It
was, yes. They are a big, strong physical side. They're a good side, a real strong team, and we've shown that not only tonight at Mansfield, but obviously against the Stevenages, the Orients, and the Northamptons. We've shown that we are capable of matching those bigger teams, bigger budgets, bigger squads. We are capable of matching those teams. We just need to maybe be able to put ourselves in more of a competitive place that we can go and compete with these on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, and on a season basis as well. So we've got a lot of work to do. but I want us to be able to compete with these teams. We've shown we can, but I want us to be able to compete and win against these teams going forward.
You mentioned the squad size. Was that part of the thinking of tinkering with the side? Was it just pure the effort of Hartlepool?
Yeah, the lads. Look, the lads. You've seen the energy levels that we put in, not only to training but into games. So it would have been running the risk of injury if I had asked the same 3-4 lads to go again tonight. So it's just a little bit of involvement, a little bit of rotation, just to try and keep some freshness in the team. And I thought Waity and I thought Welchie done really, really well in there tonight, to be fair to them. So, and then obviously the two lads up front. So the last thing we want is injuries. The last thing we want is people picking up muscular injuries at this stage of the season. We want to be strong for the remaining fixtures. And it was just trying to protect them a little bit, because we have had a lot of games, a lot of travel, and we go again on Friday all the way up to Doncaster. Another one here next Tuesday, so and next Saturday as well away at Gillingham. So it's a heavy workload. I'm just trying to protect the lads and just trying to energise the team as best we could.
And there's a chance for James White. He's had to be patient. He's had a few lively cameos.
He was very good. Yeah, he was very good. Obviously, look, his fitness levels, having not played a lot, was always going to diminish and dwindle as the time went on. And we obviously changed the system as well to change the shape of the team. But yeah, he done very well, Whitey. Really, really pleased with him. As did Welchie, who came in as well. The two lads were lively up front, particularly in the first half. They got down sides. Maybe a pass selection here or there, if we got it right, we might have been in. But all in all, it was a strong performance. But we're on the end of we can't get away from the fact we're on the end of a 2 on defeat.
You said Saturday was after consistency in the performance tonight. Did you see that consistency you was looking for more than the result?
I see it in performance. I see it in performance. Yes, I see it in games, in training. I see it in habits. I see it in the way they conduct themselves. I just need that to transform that into results more often. I saw the last few weeks they've been really strong. But good teams, good players win games. Great players win again and again and again, and that's what I want my lads to do, and that's what I want from them. And I'm sure they will want the same.
Now that you're mathematically safe, does the attention turn to players playing for their places for next season, or is it a case of you want to win as many as you can between now and the end of the season?
We want to win every game. We showed that tonight. We want to compete. We want to win every game, and we want to put as much points on the boards as we can. Yes, listen, all players will be playing for futures, not only here but elsewhere, because I'm sure they'll all be trying to play well, so other people will see them and look at them. They'll also be trying to play well here. Football doesn't change no matter what level you're at. That's always the case. There's always someone watching, and there's always something to prove. And not only that, play personal pride as well, personal performance as well. So there's a lot to play for and a lot at stake. But yeah, listen, I wouldn't say there'd be anything that I don't know about these lads already that I'll learn between now and the end of the season.
Hard luck tonight.
Well, there we go. That went quickly at the end, didn't it? Luke, do you want to pick up where you and Graham left off?
Yeah, I think he said hard luck doesn't pay the bills, and that's very true after last night. Yeah, I agree with most of what Stephen said. Really, I think that first 25-30 minutes, Newport County were on top, and their Mansfield's goal came against the run of play a little bit, but once Mansfield scored, they just grew in confidence, and you could see that the confidence was getting into them, and they were just getting into their rhythm, their flow, and it was hard for Newport County to stop that. It wasn't until, as Stephen said, Aaron Wilder came on the 60th minute for Scott Bennett, who unfortunately went off with a bit of a knock, that it something changed. So I felt that something needed to change at half time. You could see something wasn't there. You could see something wasn't right at half time, especially towards the end of the first half. Made 4 changes, arguably his best players, his top creator, his top assister, and Aaron Wilder, who's just come into form. All 3 of them have been dropped. Yes, I can understand why we've got 4 games in the space of 14 days, but if you're going against one of the top teams in the league, you need to give yourself a fighting chance. Yes, okay, you could argue you did that in the first half, but it wasn't until the 60th minute where Aaron Wilder came on, he changed the game, as Stephen said. And it wasn't until he came on that we seen change in that game.
You might be wondering why we're not talking about the officials. Well, Stephen wants to talk about that.
Yeah.
You might be wondering also why we're not talking a little bit, which we will cover off in a second, about being safe, because Luke wants to talk about it. So let's stay away from those two for a couple of seconds. What struck me about Graham Coughlin in that press conference, apart from there's a lot of noise around what happened, he did say it was a good game of football between two League Two sides. So, Stephen, do you, one, concur with that? And for somebody who loves winning as much as we know Coughlin does, we've heard him sound a lot more angry, a lot more downbeat. That wasn't a downbeat guy.
Yeah, well, I kind of said it, didn't I? It was a really positive performance. Yeah, I think he's right. I think, they competed, and they have done, against these teams who were up the top of the table with bigger budgets, etc. I think it was a proper League Two game, and I think he's right. There was a really good advert apart from the first 15 minutes of the second half. It was a really good advert for League Two, and like I said, in the second half, when the crowd were just fair play to them, they just did not stop singing behind that dugout, and the noise was incredible. I could just about hear Chris in the commentary talking to me. And I think the only thing I think I agree with him as well is they didn't ask too many questions. The chances just weren't falling for them, and you could see that throughout the night.
For us or
for Newport, yeah. And but like he said, I think he's explained why he changed it. I could see why he did it, because it was like it started off. The plan was working first 20 odd minutes. High level, high intensity, with the energy from the youngsters was paying off until Mansfield scored. So he got his selections right, and then he changed it around in the second half. Fair play to him. Tried to do something a little bit different to cause them problems, and they kind of adjusted to that, and then they got their second goal, so they were comfortable then, to be honest. But credit to the team, they rallied, they outplayed them on times, and they are really, really good. They're the top scorers in the league as well, so so they did really well against them.
You met Graham after the match.
I did.
How was he compared to other losses? Because that just doesn't sound like a normal losing Graham Coughlin.
It doesn't. We know that he doesn't like losing. He said as much. He said a lot. He hates it, which is a good thing for Newport County, I think, because if you have a winner in charge, he'll breed confidence, and he'll breed that winning mentality that you need as a football club. Normally, when we lose, he can see why we've lost in terms of play style, in terms of maybe individual errors, performance, so he'll focus his anger on that, and that's where we see potentially an even more angrier Graham Coughlin. His anger yesterday wasn't on the players. I don't think he could fault maybe one or two dodgy errors for the goals, maybe. His anger was focused towards the officials yesterday.
Yeah, which we'll talk about in a second. Stephen, we'll talk about the last couple of games then, because we've had a really, really jam-packed fixture schedule. And what we learnt,
well,
against some of the better teams.
Yeah, it went horribly wrong against Stockport, didn't it? He tried to experiment and it didn't pay off. And I find it a weird one, though. Going and trying experimenting against top of the table teams is not a good idea. Do it against your Hartlepool, or do you know what I mean? Where you're not going to get punished maybe so much. But
at that point, though, we still need to be safe in League Two for another season, don't we? So I can understand it to a degree that I don't know.
And they just come off a really good result against Northampton, so why would you want to go and mess with it too much? I think he realised as well he got it wrong for that game. But, he's you're going to learn anyway by my mistakes.
Yeah, and he's not this guy, isn't he? That's what we're learning.
Yeah, he was. He was totally. I heard him after that game, and he got it spot on. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, the change of the formation didn't work. They lost the game in the midfield. And then he went back to what he normally does against Hartlepool. It paid off, and given a bit more luck, maybe last night they could have got a result as well. But I can see why he's so positive. And the players, they can hold their heads up by after last night. They performed really well.
Look, what have you learnt about Newport County in the last couple of games against really good opposition?
I think, despite the result against Stockport, as you just said, I believe we're starting to build that little bit of consistency that we've been looking for. Back-to-back home wins for the first time this season. Back-to-back home clean sheets. This is all before last night, obviously. Back-to-back home clean sheets for the first time since October 2021. for a team that's been struggling, and we've said that most of the season, the one thing, our away record is fine. It's top half of the table for our away record. The home record needs to be improving. And I think we're seeing that now. If we had a more competent referee in team yesterday, we'd have had something out of that game. I'm seeing signs definitely that the home form is starting to improve. I want to use the word fortress. I think we're starting to draw up the drawbridge on Rodney Parade, on Fortress Rodney. Or Fortress Parade, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I think we're starting to see signs. Confidence is definitely growing. You can see that in the fans. They didn't stop singing for the last 20-30 minutes yesterday. It was brilliant to see. I couldn't even hear myself think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think one thing I have learned is the home form is starting to get there again.
Because we've talked about consistency. Everybody's talked about consistency. It's not just it's such an obvious thing. But I thought it was interesting, that press conference where post-match Graham Cotter is talking about consistency, not just on match day, but consistency throughout the whole piece, and that was really, really interesting to say. Great to have Priestley back. Luke, how did he do?
Yeah, he did okay. He was up against two physical strikers, which I think is why he started up against two physical players. There's no one better, probably in world football, to deal with them than Priestley Farquharson.
Yeah, they're really good. That whole front three, they've got a nice mix. They've got the physicality of Bowery and Aiken, but then they've got the skill of Joe Dunne as well going forward. You can see why they've scored so many goals this season. And I thought Priestley did okay. He had a couple of moments where I think there was a bad back pass, or he got caught to it on the ball, didn't he?
Yeah, I think it was a clearance upfield. He made a mess of it, and he put it behind for a corner when he tried to give it to Joe Dunne.
Yeah, but other than that, I thought he did really, really well.
Okay, it's all about Newport County, and it's all about the current Newport County team, but we should take a couple of seconds to say that obviously Michael Flynn, Wayne Hatsell have left their jobs. They've left Walsall. Any quick thoughts on that?
When winning 20, I think the writing was on the wall there.
Yeah, it sounds like it, doesn't it? It just shows how difficult it is at this level, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? So it's not nice when somebody loses their job, is it? But we wish them the best for the future.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. Okay, Luke, let's get ready for the Absolutely County Man of the Match. Who were the options and who was the winner?
Yeah, so yesterday the options for Absolute County Man of the Match were Aaron Wildig, who me and Stephen have both said changed the game. Nick Dimitri, Nathan Mariah Walsh, who got sponsors Man of the Match, or other, which someone commented, Will Evans, was that granted, Stephen, over any of those three? Did you say? Yeah,
well, I think Will Evans had a really, really good game. He was getting forward, causing them problems, but then they brought on Gale out wide, and he kind of pushed. Well, he hasn't played that much, Gale, this season, but he put in a superb performance when he came on. And he kind of started pushing Will Evans back, and he was tackling back as well. So Will Evans wasn't so much of a threat going forward. It was really, really good management by Nigel Clough, I thought.
Who was your man of the match yesterday, just quickly?
Aaron Wildig.
Yeah, 61.5% of people agree with you. The Absolute County Man of the Match is Aaron Wildig.
British rock band FM are on the UK tour. They'll be here at the Neon on Saturday the 20th of May. Doors open at 7:30pm. Tickets available at a different website to know more. Check out fmofficial.com.
Right here, right now. Newport City Radio.
Talking about officials, for my talking point this week, I'm going to ask the question, do we expect too much from officials? But before we debate it in the studio, shall we hear from Graham Coughlin?
You mentioned some of the decisions that didn't go your way, but you talk about the way the referee spoke to your players. Does that infuriate you more than the individual decisions?
Well, I don't think you can get the decisions wrong. Let's call it right. I've been in the game a long time, and like I say, the decisions. I don't want to stand here, and I try and steer clear. I try my best to steer clear of it. But look, you can't miss the red card, and you can't miss the penalty. There's no excuses for missing that or missing them type of incidents, because then when two top teams go up against each other, they can be the defining moments in the game. And they probably, if we're being honest, they were probably two defining moments. The whole game changes on that red card. Mansfield have acted. They obviously realised what was going on, and they noticed it, and they've taken the player off at half time, which is always an indication. So they've acted, fair play to them, and then they obviously look. You can't miss the penalty. Let's have a right. But we're on the wrong end of them decisions. We'll just have to dust ourselves down. We'll just have to smile and move on. But it's not one game. It's every game. It's every week. The standard needs to improve for the good of the game, because that was a really, really good League 2 game of football between two really, really good teams. And unfortunately, it was let down by some decisions.
Yeah, so there's the thoughts of Graham Coughlin there, and it is the big talking point from last night. There's no two ways about it, so that's why I thought we'd talk about it this evening. So, Luke Lewis,
hello.
Do we expect too much from officials?
I think they were appalling last night. We expect them to judge the game fairly. We expect them to make correct decisions, which they did not do last night. We were denied at least one stonewall penalty that would have got us back into the game, would have got us a point. You'd have seen an even happier Graham Coughlin, probably, as we just spoken about. We expect them to do the basics. Watch the game and judge it fairly. Judge the game fairly, give fair calls. We did not see that last night. What we seen was referee who let things go for Mansfield, but as soon as Newport County did it, the same thing, foul.
Yeah,
yellow card.
We said that at half time, didn't we?
Yeah.
We said, I can't believe the referee. I was like, we were doing things, we get punished. The Mansfield, he was letting it go. But like I said,
wasn't it something to do with Priestley Farquharson where Lucas Akins pulled him back and he no foul, play on?
Yeah.
But when Priestley Farquharson pulled Lucas Akins back,
something like that, wasn't
foul, yellow card Priestley in the book.
Yeah.
He was appalling. It wasn't just the referee, the linesman on the Hazel Terrace. Or Compy Terrace, as I think.
Compy Terrace.
Compy Terrace. Good evening, Charlie Brown. But linesman on the Compy Terrace, I think he had a stinker as well. They couldn't leave Rodney Pruitt quick enough last night. They were absolutely shocking. The worst. We've seen some stinkers drop the Rodney Pruitt in our time of covering Newport County. That is definitely top 5, in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah, I think last night is an isolated.
It's not isolated over the season. We've seen stinkers.
Well, let me finish, and then
easy, Tiger.
Over the course of a season, how much difference does it make? And then sometimes, I feel that we maybe blame officials for our own inadequacies. Sometimes I think where we fall short. Sometimes, Ian Lambsdale, what do you think?
I'd be interested to see what the Mansfield fans make of it. I wonder if they've got rose-tinted glasses on, because it sounded horrendous. What do I think? I think, which level is it acceptable to bring in relatively experienced officials? And my thinking on this is that it's not League 2. It's a professional game at that level. And there should be professional officials doing it. Yeah, people could get things wrong from time to time, but I don't think that's the level to bring in relatively untested people.
Yeah, because obviously Tony Kirk is his first season as an EFL referee, and I think the biggest thing last night is I think they got the appointment wrong. I don't think he should have been in charge of that game, but I think maybe the EFL looked at it like Mansfield top of the table, Newport County in the lower reaches, so maybe they thought we'll put him in for that one. But yeah, like I said, Mansfield were really clever in the way that they were going about their business, and he just kind of punished Newport County and not them. And I think it is difficult for officials as well. Obviously they haven't got the luxury of VAR like you got in the Premier League and all that. But I agree with Luke. I think the least you expect is a competent referee. I mean, you expect them to go and you're going to get some decisions wrong.
He's perfect. We're human. We are going to get things wrong, but you'd expect...
I don't get things wrong. I'm human.
The god that is Ian Lambsdale.
I'm just thinking as well, what were the team around him? Not the football teams, the officiating team, if that's the right way to use it, because they've got to start somewhere. Somebody's got to have their first match officiating a League 2 game, right? So surely you would put some strong support around him in the second officials and stuff like that. So is that what happened last night? Did he get support off experienced heads? Well,
I think he was let down by the linesman as well on our side of the pitch. To be honest, when I saw it live, I wasn't quite sure if it was a penalty, but yeah, Ewan Roberts, who from BBC Radio Wales, had a much better view than us, and he was convinced it was a penalty. So now I'm thinking, yeah, it probably was. Sometimes you think, oh, we shout for penalties, don't we? And it's kind of more hope than expectation. And I think that's where I was leaning towards last night. But after I've had a think about it, I was like, yeah, it probably was.
It's really interesting, you guys feeling the way you do about this, and it matches what Graham Cochran said. I dropped the warm-up team home because on Tuesday night it's nice to get them back safely, and for when to go into the game. I'm glad I missed out that bit, but I did pick up a mad Andy Leach on the way home, who was literally mad for a different reason. Mad usually means a little bit crazy in Andy's term. This was mad furious. He had a few choice words that I can't repeat on the radio about the linesman. So
I think quite a few county fans have some choice words about the linesman come 10 o'clock.
There was about 3,575 people who felt exactly the same way last night.
And I'll see, he got in the car and I thought it's just Andy being Andy. And then obviously I'm looking at Facebook today thinking, wow, no. And then listening to what you two say, it needs to be fixed. I don't know what the next step is, so I know Graham's going to speak to the FA about it, what could possibly happen. But again, imagine this game where it's the last game of the season, or last but one game of the season. One of these two teams, probably County, in our luck, need to win that game, and you play that game with that set of officials. Come on.
Going back to that scenario, we've seen it, 2 consecutive playoff finals at Wembley. You don't get any bigger game than that in League Two.
Because it does seem there are certain referees who just give us nothing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, it does happen. We've seen it quite a lot.
We've seen
it planned, though.
No, I don't think they set out to do it.
Because it seems that we talk about it a lot. Yeah. And is it our perspective on it?
It's just League Two. It's just what you're going to get.
Because, from my point of view, I think you do get games of football where you think, right, the ref's not going to give me anything. No, in my eyes, I would just be more determined to play even better to make sure I'm going to get a result out of this game, come hell or high water. In spite of the referee, that's the way I kind of look at it. So it's an interesting one.
Going back to the scenario you gave, Wembley playoff final 2020, we've seen a penalty for Morecambe for handball. Was it not a handball or was it out the box? I can't remember now. And then Scott Bennett was clear as day in the back of the head, clear as day. Even the pundits from Sky Sports, even the commentator said it was a handball. We were watching it.
We wouldn't look back in Amber, but not that far back in Amber.
But still, even in that scenario, the referees are still incompetent.
So I think we've answered that question very well.
Really?
Yeah. Are you holding a big or small event or celebrating a special occasion and need the perfect space? Well, you can hire the Neon. Call on 533-666.
Right here, right now. This is Newport City Radio.
As we try and
relax.
As we try and calm down from
10 o'clock tonight, there's pure chill. I think we all might need it.
As you try and calm down from our 20-minute epic rant on the standard refereeing in our league, for my talk goodbye this week, I want to ask, something I picked up from Graham Cochran in his post-match press conference, and he said about relegation, it was never in doubt that we would be in any serious trouble. So I want to ask the question, were we in any real trouble? Let's hear the luscious Irish vocals of one Graham Cochran.
Well, in the words of David Hando, yes, God rest his soul, mission accomplished. I don't think, and forgive me for sounding arrogant, but I don't think it was ever in danger bringing myself and Joe into the club. I always thought we were in control of it, and I always thought it was well within our capabilities. Now that might come across, and I might get a bit of stick for that, but I know we're not. We know the game, myself and Joe, and the lads have responded terrifically well, and they've been brilliant for us, as has the fans, as has the football club, and it's been a great few months. But I want to build on it. I want to get better. I want to improve, and I want to try and steer clear of any more of this. What would we say? Battling down the bottom end of League Two. I would rather be battling up the top end, and those boys have shown. This football club, they've shown me that they're capable, and they just need to have that little bit more confidence, and they need to show it a little bit more consistent. And I think they're 3 key words for us in anything we try and do next season.
Stephen Howell.
Yes.
Were we in any serious doubt of being relegated?
When James Robury left, I think we were in free fall. It was a kind of what happened towards the end of last season, where lost the last 5 at home. Had 1 win and 4 defeats in the last 5 games. And then began the season in the same way with a draw, 3 defeats, and then we won 2, and then we went on a run of 1 win in 8 games, which saw him leave his job. And I think Graham Coughlin came in and he took over the side, which was not playing well, low on confidence, and he got into the minds of the players and he started to kind of change the mentality, give them that confidence, and then build it up by, we've spoken about him, we being hard to beat, and he's kind of, the results kind of have improved as he's gone along. Do you know what I mean? He's not lost that many games as he, and yeah, I think he's managed to keep us away from a drop zone. I think what's helped him is that there's a lot of teams below us who are worse than us.
Yeah.
So that's helped as well.
I think we were the best of a bad bunch. You could say.
I mean, we have been teetering around 18th, 19th, and we for
even though, I keep saying they've come in. They've done well, but the table isn't reflecting that. We're still down in 18th. But yesterday, before the game, really interesting thing I seen. If we won yesterday and results went in our favour,
you could have gone up to 11th.
The dizzying heights of 11th in the top half of the Sky Bet League 2.
And I think that's the thing in there, because we're not that consistent enough. That's why we haven't climbed. So, because then the other teams above us will go and get results. So that's where I think what he's done really well, excuse me, is he's spoken about us being competitive against the top teams. We've got a really good record at home against the top 6. We've only lost once, 1-1 and drawn 4. Away, not so good, 1-1, drawn 1, lost 4. And we got a good record against the bottom 6, especially at home. Where we're going wrong is the teams between 8th and 16th, those teams that we're trying to catch. We need to improve on that. We've only won 3, lost 6 at home. Slightly better away, 1-3, drawn 4 and lost 1. So we just need to kind of, I think it's that home form is what will help you get up the table, and I think that's what we really need to, like you said, we got to create a fortress again, which I think is happening now.
I was going to say, are we seeing signs of that slowly but surely? It's taken a couple of months. We've had wins and we've played poorly or whatever.
I think he's built it up, haven't he? You become hard to beat, and then you can become a little bit more expansive. You'll get more players in that he wants over the summer as well. So, next season, obviously, without looking too far forward, will be different, I'm sure. I think he's done an amazing job. He's come in, he's steadied the ship, he's made us, he's got results, he's made us hard to beat, and, you can't ask for much more than that, can you?
Well, it's not just him, it's Joe Dunne as well.
Yeah, Joe Dunne.
Who we had the pleasure of speaking to last Tuesday, and we'll have a little bit of a teaser coming up in a minute. Now, I'm going to throw to the man to my right, Ian Lambsdale. Do you have any thoughts on this? Was relegation ever a serious concern for you?
Yeah, definitely. I don't think that anybody thought we'd be in this position. Like you guys said, we've not really come out of 18th. Why? Because we might have left it a little bit too late. We all got on great with James, but maybe it wasn't quite, maybe he didn't have that much experience. Then you bring in these two gentlemen, Joe we'll hear from in a couple of seconds' time, Graham that we hear off every week, and they identify those two things that we've talked about a lot. So the lack of confidence and the lack of fitness. Nobody thought that we would be in this position. Even the players, James did not lose that dressing room.
He didn't.
The players were still playing for him and still believing in what he was doing.
It's just the performances just weren't there, and B, we just couldn't break teams down.
And then Graham and Joe come in, and this is what they do. They identify what they perceive to be the problem. They set about working on it. Absolutely, of course, these two never ever considered for 2 minutes that Newport County would be relegated this season, because they can't. They've gone in there to make sure that Newport County don't go under. They've had to stick to it, and they've had to really, really instill that belief into the players. So was it ever in doubt? I don't think it was in doubt in the players. I don't think it was massively in doubt with the fans, even though they did sense that the change needs to be made. And I don't think it's been in much doubt since Joe and Graham took over. Or am I wrong?
No, I don't think so. I think it's spot on. Yeah, I think that obviously, I think they've always been in the mindset that they're going to be safe. And I think the way they've gone about their business is, they both deserve a lot of credit for what they've done.
They do. I think they've come in, and since day one, I think James Clark said he's exactly what the dressing room need. Graham Coughlin, we know he's in the Flinny type. He's in the Flinny mode of honesty. And sometimes in football, you do need to be honest. Sometimes you do need someone to come and tell you, you've had a poor game, this is where you go better. So I think we need that, honestly.
Yeah, but I think, and again, I'd have to go back and listen to all the interviews with Flinney on this podcast, but I don't think even Flinney was this consistent in his messaging in the way that Graham is, because I felt sometimes it was kind of like, the boys did great, the boys didn't do so great, and I'm angry. Graham Coughlin has been pretty much consistently angry throughout losses, apart from this one, and absolutely supportive, but not overdoing it when they've won well. So I think he's more measured in what he's done, and that's got to help the situation, I would have thought.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
This year, Exposure Wrestling has some great shows lined up at the Neon. One this Sunday featuring ex-AEW World Tag Team Champion Frankie Kazarian, huge name in the world of professional wrestling. There's no age restrictions. These shows are suitable for the whole family. All we ask is under 16s to be accompanied by an adult. Tickets to this Sunday show is available at exposurewrestling.com.
Right here.
Right here.
Right now.
Right now.
Newport City Radio.
No, we've been teasing you all episodes, and there's the moment where you get to hear a little bit of our 60-minute chat with Newport County Assistant Manager Joe Dunne. It's great. He can talk. He's great with stories. He's got a lot to say. We talk about his past, his present, his future, and this is a little bit from what me and Luke found out the other day.
I'm walking with German Shepherd in the park, and he's having a good run off the lead. Next minute, my phone goes, and it's the gaffer, Graham, and he says, "Listen, Joe, I might have a chance with Newport County. Do you fancy getting down?" And I'm like, "Yeah, no sweat. Like, no problem. I'll be on the next." And I was in the car straight away. Came straight down, straight to the training ground, and familiar faces who were enemies, if you like, when I was at Cambridge and Colchester. And yeah, it was great. It was great to turn up, and the opportunity was. I'm blessed to be given the opportunity with Graham. I've done it 2 or 3 times with Graham.
It's the little detail that matters in these sort of podcasts, and everybody will be screaming at me now if I don't ask this question. What's the dog's name?
Logan.
There you go. Good. That's a good, solid name.
Yeah, we're big Marvel fans in our house.
Right.
So and we he's called after obviously Wolverine.
There you go, your questions, our questions, and he is brilliant. So we're hopefully going to get that together for you. If we can get together for you to travel to Donny listening to it, we will do that for you, and we'll try our best. If not, it'll be on Sunday. We're just waiting for the club to make sure that they're happy with the whole thing. So that's all we're waiting for. But it is well worth that wait. He was good, wasn't he?
He was. Fair play. It's the first time we've had some of the new regime into the club, and I'm just hoping we'll get Graham in, because Joe was fantastic. Told some amazing stories about his career, and he's got some stories to tell.
You've had a sneaky listen, Stephen.
I've had a sneaky exclusive listen. Yes, yeah.
What do you make of what you heard? What are the listeners in for?
I think you can really get to know the man. I think he's got some brilliant stories about his career, especially when he signed for Gillingham. That was a particularly good story, but and I think he just speaks really, really well about football. You'll find out that he's got more and more into the statistics and things like that as well. So you just really get a good idea of what makes the man tick.
Yeah, and you also get an insight into Graham as well, because we talk a lot about that relationship. It's really good. I can't oversell it enough, because he is quality. He is box office. Me and Luke do a good job. And for your question, Stephen.
Thanks.
But, he's box office. Okay, we will try and get that to you as soon as we can. Let's talk about the next game. It's Doncaster on Saturday, the 22nd of April at 3 p.m. Let's do score predictions. Stephen.
Yeah, well, Doncaster only 1 win in the last 13 matches. Lost their last 3 at home. So I'm going to go for a 2-0 Newport County win.
Hey, cool. Luke.
4-0 Newport.
Wow, so really redressing the balance of the last away game, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Then on to the next home game, which is Harrogate Town, this coming Tuesday, the 25th of April, 7:45pm kickoff. The Rogues, which are a great band.
Fantastic.
And they've got such a good following. I think they might be bringing some over to watch them in the marquee. They're going to go and watch the game as well, which is fantastic. So
you don't need to be a Newport County ticket holder to go and see the Rogues.
Yeah, because you don't need your ticket to go into the marquee. No. It's a free open space. So you need to come and see this band. They are the next big thing.
Yeah, they're phenomenal.
If you do one thing this year, get yourself to the marquee this Tuesday. come and see them before they become worldwide famous.
They do it because they love us.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely do that. And while you're there, get a ticket and go watch the match because we got to support.
Come say hi to us on Newport City Radio as well. Love to see some faces over there.
Anyway, score predictions, Stephen.
Well, funnily enough, they won their last match against Michael Flynn's Walsall, or ex-Michael Flynn's Walsall, unbeaten in their last 6, but we do like to end teams' unbeaten runs. 3-0 Newport.
Well, so again, that growing element. Luke?
Last time we played them, we beat them 4-0 away. Time before that, we beat them 4-0 at home. I think we'll see another repeat of this season, but I think we'll win 5-0. Let's go bold. Go on.
Well, yeah, you got to go one better, haven't you? Oh, guys, we're well over time, but as well, we're talking about that one. What an absolute brilliant episode. Thank you very much. I'm not overselling things today. I can prove factually that everything's all good. Thank you for taking time to listen out today. As always, we'd love to read your thoughts about our thoughts. Do it on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, via direct message. We're also on email at studio@newportcityradio.org. Stephen?
Just a quick shout out to Ollie the dog. He's had a bit of bad news today. Hope you get well soon, Ollie.
Ollie is a regular listener to this podcast as well, so well done, mate. We will catch you on Wednesday the 26th of April at 3 p.m. It's earlier, so make sure you're here for that one when we look back at Amber at the match against Harrogate. More talking points, more banter and more top class analysis.
Right here.
Right here.
Right now.
Right now. Newport City Radio.